Have you ever wanted to accomplish something but found that fear was basically getting in your way every single time you tried? Well, the truth of the matter is, fear is probably the number one issue in anybody's life at any given time. And I'm not necessarily sure that this is biologically based, but I'm guessing there is a strong biological factor behind that, which is survival is the most important thing biologically speaking. So you're kind of predisposed toward fear and keeping yourself safe. But my guess is a lot of this stems from just socialization and the fear of falling on your face, basically, and having people judge you or condemn you because you don't know something, because you didn't do it right, because you messed up, or because you did, in fact, fall. So we kind of have to look at, I think, that level of fear more than anything else when it comes to achieving pretty much anything in our life and working past that fear of failure. And I think ultimately the solution comes down to a question, which is, would you rather be somebody who has a life, who falls on their face and gets humiliated, or somebody who doesn't have a life but never has to face the judgment of other people? That's not necessarily an easy question to answer, but I think most of us are going to come down on the side of, I would ultimately rather face humiliation and have the life that I'm looking for. But in order to do that, I have to recognize that humiliation is a possibility and a likelihood. As a matter of fact, if you've never done something, the chances that you will fail are astronomically high. One of the best indicators of success is failure in the past. So if you're trying to do something new, I'd almost expect to fail the first time and then just expect to get back up and try again. Because ultimately, even though so many of us have an easier time in schooling, it hasn't been a great environment to teach us how to pursue things and push through the effort. So that's what we need to learn to do, is how to work at things. And I know that for me, this has been a very, very big part of my life, and it's also for my husband. I think he struggles with it more than I do at this point because he hasn't had such a tremendous example of life slapping him in the face in the way that I probably have. So I long ago decided I would rather be stupid and look stupid if it meant getting what I wanted. But I know that it can be a bit of a challenge to get to that place emotionally and mentally to where you're ready to face humiliation and willing to look stupid and willing to be stupid. Because truth of the matter is, anything you want to accomplish is on the other side of humiliation pretty much every time. Now, that's not necessarily humiliation that other people place on you. You know, you could just feel humiliated in your own self because you tried something and failed, or tried something and it didn't work out perfectly at the very least, because failure really more is determined by your unwillingness to continue forward. So it'd be more about, feeling dumb just in yourself. And that's enough that most people will be like, oh, well, I guess it's not for me. But if you really want something, you have to decide if it's worth the humiliation, worth the pain, worth the continuous effort. And if it's not, maybe you don't want it that bad. And if it is worth it, then you just got to know that you have to keep moving forward. You have to keep working at it, and that eventually you'll get there. So I know that fear isn't necessarily an easy thing to overcome, but I think the best way to overcome that fear is to build up your sense of resolve, is to get past this notion of, if it's not easy, it must not be for me. So those are kind of two things. Building up your resolve, though, really comes down to overwhelming yourself with reasons to do something, and then coming to the decision of some simple action you can take every day, and then saying to yourself, I am going to do this every single day. And then try to feel that sense of resolve in your body. One of the best practices I know for this is to actually focus on your heart center. Close your eyes, bring your attention down to your heart. You can even touch the area of your chest where your heart is, and then think of the word resolve. And then just try to see what comes up. And if you keep practicing this for long enough, you're going to notice this kind of steadfastness. It's kind of like a feeling of a iron wall or something. Not necessarily in a bad way, but this silent strength just rising up in you. That's the feeling of resolve, as best as I can describe it. Now, other people may feel it differently, and your experience may differ from mine. But whatever emotion comes up in response to the word resolve, that's what you need to cultivate in order to push past your fear. Because ultimately, knowing that your fear is irrational is going to help you get past it. And then giving yourself reasons to push past the discomfort is the second part of that. So that's what you got to work at. That's what you got to keep trying to do. That's what I'm working on as well, you know. Doing a video every single day was definitely way more intimidating when I first started doing it. Now it's a little less intimidating, but I don't necessarily think my skill is at the peak of what it would ever be. Still working on that too. So I get the fear. I get not wanting to be judged. You know, that's one of my biggest challenges with making YouTube videos. I know people look at me and go, oh, she's fat. Oh, she's not pretty. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Oh, she said something stupid. Oh, she's, I don't know, whatever. Pompous, arrogant, talks with too many big words. Come up with whatever reason you want to. There are always going to be people that judge you. And there are always going to be people who are a bit creepy. It's just kind of how life works. So that's what I got to deal with. You get to deal with your own path. You get to deal with your own struggles. But the best way to overcome them, the best way to keep moving forward, find good reasons. Find the path that inspires you to work on that sense of resolve, and then develop that resolve. You know how. You can do it. So keep working.